Who exactly, or what exactly, is the alien author of All Tomorrows? I'm talking about this guy, by the way, not this guy. So spoiler alert if you haven't yet read the book or listened to my audiobook reading, in the final chapter it's revealed that everything and everyone previously talked about in the story is long gone, and by long gone I mean they've been extinct for over 1 billion years. We're told this by the being who, in universe, wrote the book, known as the alien author, this strange looking chap. But who is this being? There's a few theories floating around on the internet, all of which are possibilities. Some say that the author is actually a highly evolved version of one of the species we meet in the book, with the majority of these people believing him and his species to in fact be descended from the Q. It's possible. I would say that there are a few loose similarities. The appendages coming from the top of the author's head, or at least I would assume that's his head, do resemble the Q's optical stalks. It could also be that the arm and hand that are seen grasping the human skull are actually derived from the Q's long prehensile tail. In both illustrations they're grasping something. In both illustrations they're facing the reader straight on. Maybe they were illustrated this way on purpose to demonstrate the parallels between these two possibly related species. Maybe when the Astromorphs and the Second Galactic Empire eventually re-encountered and subdued the Q, as is stated towards the end of the book, the Empire genetically modified them into something else, as the Q had been doing to other species for an untold amount of time. If the Astromorphs modified the Q into a sort of slug-like species, they may have, after 1 billion years or so, evolved to the point of becoming the race that the author belongs to. So perhaps the author isn't directly descended from the Q as we know them, but descended from the species that the Astromorphs changed the Q into. Speaking of Astromorphs, it's also possible that the author is actually descended from them. Again, when you look at the image of the later stage Astromorph with the bizarre hypertrophied brain that has spread out from the sides of its head like wings, there are again similarities between the two images. Both facing the reader, both in possession of something. The author possesses a skull, and the Astro possesses a gravital. I think this possession, as illustrated, is symbolic of humanity's dominion over all things. It could be that the author also has a brain that spreads outwards like this, as it's a distant descendant of the Astromorphs. It has, of course, shrunken down over the ensuing eons. Perhaps the Astromorphs eventually reached the pinnacle of evolution and became so advanced that it was impossible for them to advance any further. What goes up must come down. Some people seem to subscribe to this theory, but personally I can't get on board with it. The main reason for this being that the Astromorphs lived within a zero-gravity environment, encased within asteroids that they had hollowed out, whereas the alien author is clearly a terrestrial creature. It's possible that the later stage Astromorphs decided to descend downwards and start to live on ordinary planets, but for the life of me I can't think of a reason for why they would want to do that. Of course, saying that, it's possible that the author is descended from the terrestrial variation of Astromorph, which was genetically created by the true Astromorphs to oversee the societies of the human-derived subjects, but I don't know. I don't think so. To me this just doesn't ring true. I don't really have a solid explanation for my reasoning, if I'm honest. I just don't feel like it's a possibility. My instincts just aren't telling me that it's a possibility, and I feel deep down that the terrestrials and the Astromorphs as a whole are not related to the author. Another possibility is that the author is a highly evolved subject. The subjects were the descendants of the Bugfacers, a small number of whom managed to survive the catastrophic war between the Astromorphs and the Gravital's machine empire. When the Gravital embarked on their campaign of extermination, in which they wiped out all but a small number of the human-derived species, they had, for reasons unknown, decided not to completely wipe out the Bugfacers. The Gravital inducted them into the machine empire, but it seems more likely that they were simply kept as pets. They then genetically modified them in all kinds of ways, and the Bugfacers' descendants became what we call the subjects. The Gravitals, or at least a number of them, had over time grown extremely fond of organic life, and so they kept subjects as companions, and at times, machine and organic would fall in love with one another. With what could be perceived as a movement towards equal rights for the subjects over time, it could be that they eventually became fully autonomous and independent. It could be that the subjects, or at least some of them, parted ways with the machines and went off into the void of space to start their own empire. A billion years later, with all of this knowledge having long since become lost, the subjects could have evolved to become the author's species. I think this is possible, certainly more so than the author being descended from the Astromorphs. Again, I'm only going by gut feeling and instinct here, as I don't think there is enough evidence to conclusively state which of these theories is true or not. Personally, I feel that in this case, the most straightforward theory is probably the most likely, in that the alien author isn't descended from humanity at all and is simply just another alien species. Intelligent alien species do exist in the All Tomorrows universe, with the Q and also the Amphicephali being the obvious examples. So I feel like the alien author really is an alien author, with no genetic connection to humanity. Although there is the question of why the author has taken such an interest in the ancient human species. Is it just curiosity? Is it just an intense interest, the same way we have a fascination with dinosaurs? Or maybe he suspects that his species may in fact be descended from the human race and is searching for hard evidence of this. He doesn't know where his species came from, in the same way that we don't really know where our species came from, but he suspects that humans may have something to do with it. So this video is really just about getting a discussion going. I've made a few points, stated what I think may be the case with regards to the alien author, but I don't have the answers. None of us do. However, I am interested in reading your takes on what you think the author might be. Is he a Q? Is he an astromorph? Is he a bona fide alien? Or is he something else? Sound off in the comments below and let me know what you think. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you found this video somewhat interesting and entertaining, or at least it made you think. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and check out the merch store. I also want to say a big thank you to everyone who has done so already and for helping me to reach 4,000 subscribers. It's much appreciated. This has been Beware the Q, and I'll see you in the next video.